Yo, welcome back and good morning from Washington. As you can see, we ain't got no more snow. A few days ago in Tacoma, we had about 8 inches of snow. And in fact, you can see where the snowman used to be over there. The family did. But that kind of put a delay on everything. But changing plan, I said I was going to wait to finish the CRX after the shop's all extended and all that. But the customer is kind of in a hurry and just wants to get it done and over with. So we're just gonna start and get it painted before the shop gets built or started, hopefully. So I'm gonna turn the camera around. Got the rear bumper on the CRX right here. I gotta say, this is probably the most minty rear bumper that I've seen on a CRX. It didn't really have much work. It was it was almost a pity to sand it because it was just so damn nice. But they have a lot of nicks in here. There, I highlighted with yellow, with the yellow tape, just to highlight. Gonna fill every single one of those little areas, slightly fill. Gonna be actually using we had to go buy some more putty because this car's took a lot of material. Had to go buy some glazing putty using some cheap stuff. It's about 20 bucks in Washington. It'll do the trick for something small like this, but for something big I probably wouldn't want to use that stuff because for glazing putty it sands pretty hard. Yeah, just a little bunch of nicks. I actually plan on painting these parts probably this week. I'm gonna be painting parts just part by part. It makes it a lot easier that way. And the customer had already taken apart the mirror, which helps me out a lot because, you know, this is a lot of work. So any small little tedious work that someone else can do, like the customer can help, it helps me out. And just in case if you're wondering, if you've seen all this in the background earlier, I covered everything up. Just been thinking I need to start taking care of all my investments. Before I would just always be on the go, busy, never took the time to really cover up anything. That Snap-on toolbox has been like over 16 years old and it's got caked up overspray. Just never took care of it. My dumb ass should. I mean, those things are expensive. They're like 10 grand just for the box. But yeah, better late than never. Starting to cover up everything right now. In the meantime, I'm hoping I can plan something once the shop gets extended. I could figure something out. Maybe I can get some sliding curtains that goes up to the top of the ceiling and just drapes it all the way across. Maybe that's what I'm thinking about. But you know, things change once we see the place built, and we're just gonna go from there. But I'm gonna get ready to start working right now and stop recording. All right. So for something this basic, we're just gonna get some tape. It's common sense. If you don't know, it's just common sense in the auto body industry. We're gonna get some tape, hard line it, mix up our seam sealer, throw it in there, so that way we pull the tape off. It's got a nice little clean edge. So we're gonna get some tape right now. I think we're gonna be using some of this 1/2-inch tape right here. Works really good. You can flex and bend in little areas. Not gonna do anything fancy. All I'm trying to do is just protect it. I'm sure down the road it might end up rusting again. The history of this hood, it's just got all kinds of stuff under there, so make it look better. See, something just simple like that. And up here, maybe I'm just gonna follow the old seam line and just go right here and just follow that inner edge. Just like that. And we're gonna do the same thing with the other side. Yeah, let's get started at this. Get our gloves on. And we're gonna be cleaning this. Always wipe with some sort of solvent or even rubbing alcohol. Rubbing alcohol is good all around. But if that's what you have in your household, then go with it. It works. Just gonna be using some cheap thinner and give it a quick wipe. Stuff evaporates quick, even if it goes into the crack. That's why I like solvent, like paint thinner. It evaporates really quick. Quick wipe, and that's pretty much it. So I might not do the time lapse thing. We'll see. I've been debating on that because explaining from the beginning, then jumping straight to time lapse, I think it kind of gets old. And I started to see more people on YouTube that they actually like watching tutorials or DIYs, because a lot of guys out there who work on cars are DIYs, right? I'm a DIY guy, but I'm at the professional level. I've been doing this for over 21 years. I didn't get into collision until later. Mainly just did custom stuff, so it's totally opposite, you know, custom and then prepping for collision and taping up and all that stuff. But I think from here on out I might start doing that, just more talking, less music, more step-by-step stuff. That seems to be what everybody likes to watch. But if you guys had any questions, you know, I'm still learning, you know, at this age, and I've been doing it for a long time. I'm always learning, constantly learning something. But if you guys had any questions, ask. I will reply back. Email me, I will reply back. You know, I'll get at that. That's something I like to do. I like to help people. So we're gonna get at this, mix the seam sealer, and stay tuned. And once you got maybe about I'd say about 2 inches worth of it, I think it's safe to go. And we're gonna start. Hold on, let's get that camera a little closer. Right over here. It's as simple as this. I mean, it's simple, but it's more difficult to make it look pretty. And I think in the long run, that's what we're going for. You don't have to, but I like to make it look pretty as we can. Some areas. That's it. And another one right here. Thin line. It's got a little thin seams in here. And we are going to be brushing this in. I mean, when I mean brushing it in, I mean brushing it to smear it. And we're going to set this down somewhere safe. Nowhere anywhere high, because it still leaks at the nozzle. And the last thing you want is for it to leak on something. Trust me, I've done that. I left it on my toolbox, and I was not happy one bit, because that shit gets hard. And one thing I like to do is get a little paintbrush, run some solvent in there, or thinner. I'm gonna brush it in there. A lot of guys have different ways of doing it. This is just how I like to do it. So don't bite my head off of this. This is just the way I like to do things, you know. And the thinner, what it does, it just dilutes it. It kind of melts it in and dilutes it a little bit. Some people use it without it, and it works without it, but I don't know why. I like it better with just thinner. Just flows out really nice. Brush the excess out. Toss that brush away, and that's it. And clean some up while you can, while it's wet. All right. And you can pull off the tape now or later. I just pulled off now, so that hard edge kind of sinks down and flows out just a little bit, so it's not such a big hard edge. It ain't the prettiest, but it'll work. He'll save it from the whole rust. And we're gonna get ready to paint the underside hopefully this week. We're gonna do part by part, like I said earlier in the beginning. And so while we're waiting for that to dry, I think we can get started on the bumper, you know, filling in the little nicks and little minor gouges. So let's get at that right now. For the amount of little small nicks that we have and little gouges, we don't need very much of this stuff. We're filling just tiny. I don't really like filling things that much with body filler. Just I believe it's like 1/8 of an inch where there's recommendation the most you should go. I believe so. Don't quote me on that. But that's just, I always kept it way under, so just a real small spot. And in fact, that might be overkill for what we're doing. So, you know, I'm gonna mix it right now. Very tiny of the hardener. It's cold over here in Washington. I think it's like I believe it's like freaking 38 degrees right now. Mix it thoroughly. This glazing putty mixes really nice. It's really thin. Not meant to fill big dents or anything. It's meant for a final finish and stuff like this. Alright, let's go at this. I'm gonna try to do it with the camera holding up close. Can't see it, it's really small. Just gonna fill. So I didn't feel like primering the whole bumper. Not getting paid to do all that. That's one thing bad about restorations. People don't realize it's not like a collision job. Restoration has a lot of time involved in the process, but we tend to have to skip process because customers don't really want to pay. I don't blame them, it's expensive. I mean, I haven't done my car or restored my EF yet because, for one, I can't afford to pay myself. Serious, I'm not even joking. I can't afford to pay myself. And I feel these guys, customers, it's expensive, but you know what? It's the name of the game. You know, you don't get into this and expect it to be cheap. This is so we're gonna fill all these little areas just like that, simple. Let's get some more of that. This part's the easy part. It just depends on like what color you're doing. If you're doing a dark color, then yeah, you want to block it out good. And it takes a little bit of skill. Actually, not a little bit. It takes a lot of good skills to know how to do it quick and efficiently. Thank God we're just doing it in the garage, right? So we can take our time. Well, not take our time, but not rush ourselves. There ain't a manager over here breathing down our neck, making us work our asses off. Yeah, looks like that's about it. There. That's all it was. So I'm throwing on this infrared light on there just to kind of heat it up since it's so cold here. I'm gonna let that dry and you'll see me in a few seconds when we start blocking, right? Yeah, it's about dry now. Some areas, this side still needs a little bit more heat, but the rest of it is all good. And we're gonna take a little block. You can make one of these blocks or you can buy one. They're not that expensive. They're a good investment if you plan on just doing stuff for your own car and all that. And I'm just gonna use a 220 grit sticky back on here, and we're just gonna block it. Pretty straightforward right here. We're gonna be priming it, not the entire bumper, because that is just way too much work. You know, the rest of the car got priming and it needs to be blocked, and like I said, we're not getting paid to do that crazy. And this bumper was in really good condition too, so that definitely helps out a lot. You can usually go with any grid. You can go with 180 on these also, or even 80 if you built it up pretty high. But me, I'm just gonna go with this 220, and we are gonna spot prime everything. See, just like that. You don't even see it on there. We took about 98% of it off, and whatever's left in there is probably just filling in there. And the little, see, you can't even see it. That's how thin it is. We are just filling it slightly. I guess you can say it's kind of like primer surfacer. If we were to prime it, it just slightly fills it up. But except with this one, we're just manually filling up the areas that we have issues with. Saves time, kind of. Actually, not kind of. Saves a lot of time actually when you think about it. Maybe actually you can see this one here. Watch when we sand it. And the only thing is left is this little white spot right here, light spot. That filled it up. That ain't thick at all. We got that all done. I like using a microfiber. It really holds the dust down really good. Yeah, you can still see right there. It just filled it up just ever so slightly. And that's it. So now I'm just gonna wipe the whole bumper down. It's already been cleaned already before. I'm just gonna get all the dust down with the microfiber. Mix just a little bit of primer, and I'll explain that in after I get it all mixed. Gotta go back and tape everything back up. Make sure we don't want to get no primer on that black molding. That's the important part. We want to keep that black. All right, so I'm gonna get ready to mix primer and let's get at that. All right, now primer is ready. Spraying primer out of this 1.8. It's a cheap Walrick gun. I got it from my buddy Lil Cita when he was in auto body school. I had one of these for my very probably beginner's gun, and I sprayed it with cheap Harbor Freight guns in these for like 6-7 years. Once I mastered it, I started buying more expensive guns, and I mean, this is what I tell everybody all the time. If you can master a cheap garbage gun and paint good with it, can you imagine what you can do with the Ferrari? When I mean Ferrari, I mean the top end guns. A lot of people like to dive in and just buy the most expensive things because it's the cool thing to do, having the nice things. But from how I started, cheaper guns, master it, didn't get the Ferrari, and it's a breeze. So it's a no-brainer. But people these days all about showboating, buying the expensive shit. I get it though, you know. I got a lot of expensive nice tools, but it took me a long time to acquire all that. And I would have double this, but I was robbed before in my old shop and they took almost everything. But let's get at that. I'm gonna start priming, and then I'm gonna throw my respirator on because you ain't even want to breathe this stuff. Just gonna go after all the spots. The bare plastic also. I'm gonna stop talking and put on my respirator right now. Just wanted to kind of give you guys a visual. So I'm gonna put the IR heat lamp on it just to give it a faster time at flashing off, so we can give the next coat. Kind of in a hurry, I gotta get ready for work, so these little heat lamps speeds up the process for me. Thank God for one of these. If you don't have one, get one. They ain't too expensive. I mean, if you were working on this stuff all the time, then get one. That's what I meant. So gonna finish priming up, and in fact just gonna finish priming up and I'll finish off the video in a little bit. And just like that, we done. It's about 11:30 right now. I gotta get ready for work for the next job, you know. So I got a little carried away. I know I said I was just gonna prime the spots, but I had a little bit of primer left over, so I just went and gave the whole bumper about a coat and a half. I mean, yeah, I should have just left it and just spot it, because this makes more work for me, because now I got to go back and sand this carefully, because they got a lot of corners. You don't want to burn through plastic. You don't want to burn through with plastic and all that where it shows, because when you seal it, it's still going to pop out. It's going to be all fuzzy looking. Plastic doesn't sand nice and smooth like a paint and primer and all that. But yeah, what's done is done. It's all in one primer right now, just the big areas. So I think I'm gonna try and get ready for work, and we'll get this ready for paint tomorrow. All this should be all dry by tomorrow. I should be able to sand that really quick and make a video of it. Get these parts ready, and I think we got like a sunroof cover out in the shed right now. So thanks for watching. I know this is boring. Trying something different every day until I can get a feel of what feels right, and maybe what some viewers would like to see, you know, content wise. So thanks for staying tuned. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. All right.